Good evening, and welcome to Read with Chide. I know that we've missed a couple of days, quite a number of days. I apologize. I have been all over the place, not scattered, all over the place, as in the last time I was home in my room was Thursday. So, yes. Um, don't worry, as we go on, I'll create more structures for days when I'm unable to be at home, um, pre-recorded episodes, and other ways to record live even when I'm not home. But for now, thank you to everybody who checked on me. Thank you to everybody who reached out. Joy, thank you for reaching out to check on me to see how I'm doing. I'm fine. I've just been out of home for a bit. I had work stuff, church stuff, all of that. Hi, Christiana. Good evening. Welcome to Read with Chile. Thank you for joining me this evening after my absence. I'm excited to be back. We are going to try and catch up by doing morning and evening starting tomorrow. Hopefully, we catch up by the end of the week. Yes, getting back into it. We are on Exodus 25, and I will go immediately into it. Hi, Emmanuel. Thank you for joining. Um, yes, Exodus. Today we are reading Exodus 25 and 26, and I'm going right into it. Exodus chapter 25, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel that they bring me an offering of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart, he shall take my offering. Now, remember the last time we read, God was giving Moses the laws. And I remember saying how it was so interesting that the first law was, Thou shalt not make unto thee a graven image. And right while God was giving Moses those laws, these people were down there making graven images while he was still speaking. Hi, Ayamide, welcome. Um, verse 3. And this is the offering which ye shall take of them: gold, and silver, and brass, and blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine linen, and goat's hair, and ram's skin, dyed red, and badger skin, and shittim wood, oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense, onyx stones, and stones to be set in ephod and in the breastplate. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all that I showed thee, after the pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of all the instruments thereof. Even so shall ye make it. And they shall make an ark of shittim wood, 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof. Now this is the ark of the covenant, the instructions for the making of it. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, within and without shalt thou overlay it, and shalt make upon it a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in the 4 corners thereof, and 2 rings shall be in the inside of it, on in one side, in the one side of it, and 2 rings in the other side of it. And thou shalt make staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold. And thou shalt put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark, and the ark may be borne with them. So a way to carry the ark. Now, verse 15, the staves shall be in the rings of the ark, and shall not be taken from it, and thou shalt put it in the ark of the testimony which I shall give thee. Now, my Bible commentary here about verse 6. So, verse 6 is where God was saying, talking about the offering that Moses should take from the people. Verse 6 specifically says, oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense. Now, the commentary says, not every kind of oil could be used in the Lord's service, neither the petroleum that exudes so plentifully from the earth, nor the produce of fish, nor that extracted from nuts will be accepted. Only one oil was selected, and that was the best olive oil. Pretended grace from natural goodness, fancied grace from priestly hands, or imaginary grace from outward ceremonies will never serve the true child of God. He knows the Lord who would not be pleased with rivers of such oil. He goes to the oil press of Gethsemane and draws his supplies from him who was crushed there. The oil of gospel grace is pure and free from sediment and dregs. So the commentary is specifically talking about how God requires only the purest form of worship from man, right? As a form of explanation of that verse. Back to where we were. Verse 17. And thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold, 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth. And thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold of beaten work, thou shalt make them in the 2 ends of the mercy seat, and make one cherub on the one end, and the other cherub on the other end. Even of the mercy seat shall ye make the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof. Now, and the cherubims shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall look one to another toward the mercy seat, shall the faces of the cherubims be. And thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony which I shall give thee, and there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubims which are upon the ark of the testimony, and of all things which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel. Verse 23. Thou shalt also make a table of shittim wood, 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, and make thereto a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt make unto it a border of an handbreadth round about, and thou shalt make a golden crown to the border thereof round about. And thou shalt make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings in the 4 corners that are in the 4 feet thereof. Over against the border shall the rings be for places of the staves to bear the table. Give me one second. Verse, where was it? I've lost track of where I was. Okay. Verse 28. And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, and the table may be borne with them. And thou shalt make the dishes thereof, and spoons thereof, and covers thereof, and bowls thereof, to cover withal. Of pure gold shalt thou make them. And thou shalt set upon the table shewbread before me always. Remember shewbread for later, when David and his men will enter the temple and take of the shewbread. Verse 31. And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold, of beaten work shall the candlestick be made with shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knobs, and his flowers shall be of the same. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it, 3 branches of the candlestick out of one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. 3 bowls made like unto almonds, with a knop and a flower in one branch, and 3 bowls make like almonds in the other branch, with a knop and a flower. So in the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick. And in the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds, with their knops and their flowers, and there shall be a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that proceed out of the candlestick. Their knops and their branches shall be of the same, and it shall be one beaten work of pure gold. And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it, and the tongues thereof, and the snuff dishes thereof shall be of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it with all these vessels, and look that thou make them after their pattern which was shewed unto thee in the mount. Exodus chapter 26, verse 1. Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them. The length of one curtain shall be 8 and 20 cubits, the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits, and every one of the curtains shall have one measure. The 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and another 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of one curtain from the selvage in the coupling, and likewise shalt thou make in the uttermost edge of another curtain in the coupling of the second. 50 loops shalt thou make in one curtain, and 50 loops shalt thou make in the edge of the curtain that is the coupling of the second. And the loops shall take hold one of another, and thou shalt make 50 taches of gold, and couple the curtains together with the taches, and it shall be one tabernacle. And thou shalt make the curtains of goat's hair to be a covering upon the tabernacle. 11 curtains shalt thou make. The length of one curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits. And the 11 curtains shall be all of one measure. And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves, and shalt double the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make 50 loops on the edge of the one curtain that is the outmost in the coupling, and the 50 loops in the edge of the curtain which coupleth the second. And thou shalt make 50 taches of brass, and put the taches into the loops, and couple the tent together, that it may be one. And the remnant and the remaineth of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain and the remaineth, shall hang over the backside of the tabernacle, and a cubit on the one side, and a cubit on the other side of that which remaineth in length of the curtains of the tent. It shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle on this side and on that side, and to cover it. And thou shalt make a covering for the tent of ram's skins, dyed red, and a covering above of the badger skins. And thou shalt make boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth of one board. 2 tenons shall there be in one board, set in order one against another. Thus shalt thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make the boards for the tabernacle 20 boards on the south side and southward. And thou shalt make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under one board for 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under another board for 2 tenons. And for the second side of the tabernacle on the north side, there shall be 20 boards, and there's 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And for the sides of the tabernacle westward, they shall make 6 boards. 2 boards shall thou make for the corners of the tabernacle in the 2 sides, and they shall be coupled together beneath, and they shall be coupled together above the head of it unto one ring. Thus shall it be for them both, for they shall be the 2 corners. And they shall be 8 boards, and their sockets of silver 16 sockets, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another. And thou shalt make bars of shittim wood, 5 for the boards of one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the side of the tabernacle, for the 2 sides westward. And the middle bar in the midst of the boards shall reach from one end to another. And thou shalt overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold for places for the bars, right, where the bars will enter. And thou shalt overlay the bars with gold, and thou shalt rear up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof, of which was showed on thee in the mount. And thou shalt make a veil of blue, and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen of cunning work, with cherubims shall it be made. And thou shalt hang it upon 4 pillars of shittim wood, overlaid with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold upon the 4 sockets of silver attachers. And thou that thou mayest bring it thither within the veil of the ark of the testimony. And the veil shall be divided unto you, and the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy place. So this is the genesis of the division between the holy place and the most holy place. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. And thou shalt set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle towards the south. And thou shalt put the table on the north side. And thou shalt make an hanging for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen, worked with needlework. And thou shalt make for the hanging 5 pillars of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, and their hooks shall be of gold. And thou shalt cast 5 sockets of brass for them. May God bless the reading of His word. Now, what was coming to mind as I read was, I have never really paid attention while reading these things before. When you're reading your Bible, and you just sharp read through these things, both the genealogies and these type of instructions. We will shall read through, but I never really paid attention to what I was reading. But maybe this time, because I'm reading it out loud, it seems more interesting. It's making more sense. And yeah, I found it really interesting, and it just kept clicking in my head. Oh, this thing. Oh, this is where the instruction came from. Oh, this is why this thing was made. Very interesting. Please share with me. Let me know what you were thinking while we read it. Let me know what popped in your head, what questions you have as a result of what we just read, or whatever comments you have based on what we have read. Thank you again for joining Read with Chide this evening. Don't worry, we will catch up on the missed days. Again, I'll say it, we are reading morning and evening for the next 4 days at least, I know for sure. So Tuesday to Friday, we're reading morning and evening. Um, Hopefully we catch up very quickly. Thank you once again for joining. Thank you, Kimifuna. Thank you, Ayomide. Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you, Christiana. Thank you for joining. For everybody who would watch the replay, thank you for always watching the replay. A couple of people have reached out to me that, oh, Chide, I always watch the replay. I don't watch it in the evening because it works better for me in the morning. You guys better be the ones who will show up for the morning reading for the next 4 days. Thank you. I just want to really say thank you to everybody who watches this, who shares the link. Please, if you do not share the link, do well to share the link so that we can have more and more people reading with us. If you are joining and you've not subscribed, please do well to subscribe and click the notification button so that you'll be notified every single time we come up live. Have a lovely evening. Yes, 6:30 in the morning. 6:30 in the morning, immediately after Triumph 30. Have a lovely, lovely evening. See you tomorrow.